Hey, so I wanted to make this video regarding emotions and how emotions are intrinsically tied to your goals. So this is to give people knowledge about, why am I having a particular emotion right now? Sometimes we feel these emotions and we're not really sure where they come from, and they keep coming back. You know, and it's a very unpleasant feeling. You might even be confused, like, why am I feeling this way? This is messing up my whole day. And I'll give you an example of a situation I've been feeling recently. So, anyways, but before I get to that, just want to talk about goals and emotions. So, um, I recently studied emotions in grad school, and I feel like it's not common knowledge to the lay person what I'm about to tell you. But emotions in this way of thinking I'm going to describe are, they're tied to whatever goals you have, whatever values you have, whatever beliefs you have. So definitely we have emotions about things that we see, but we also have emotions about things that are intangible or invisible in some way. They lie. They they're in our mind. The thing that we get emotional about. So a lot of us have goals, and sometimes we're not aware of these goals. Sometimes they're very clear, right? Like we make the goal, we know what we want. And sometimes, they're given to us by society, by our families, um, in a whole myriad of ways. They could be built into society, or they could be something that um, is very very personal to us. Um, so in some ways, we may be getting emotional about things that uh, that we may or may not be aware of. And another thing to remember is that emotions are here to help. They're our primitive tools of handling um, situations in our life. I mean, the ultimate goal of an emotions is to bring us back to homeostasis, which means to be balanced, to have a resting heart rate. So we're not stressed out. That's not some way that we want to be, because if we're that way for too long a period of time, it's very unhealthy for us. So we wanna be cool, and that's what we are. We want to be peaceful. So please remember that. That's ultimately what we want to get back to. And emotions are tied to um, ways that we deal with issues. Not only issues, but also not only so-called issues or negative things, but also how we deal with um, things that are good for us, that are positive. Um, they seem to um, you know, bring in good things, and have that has a healthy effect on us. So that's great. And the good thing now, there is a lot of research on positive emotions and what their value is, and is. So there's not this imbalance with just studying negative emotions and what their purpose is. So definitely you should research and look into that and see the positive sides um, of emotions. So um, what I want what I want to give, now that I explained a little bit what emotions are, you know, I guess I'll give you that example of something I was feeling recently. And I was feeling a lot of anger recently. And I really couldn't figure why. And actually, I'm still a little bit angry. And I think it's because I have a lot of goals right now. And those goals have to do with me being free and 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 chasing or having a purpose in life and having my own economy where I don't have to rely on somebody else, where I'm bringing in my own income, you know. And to me, you know, and I'm providing something to somebody that they want. And to me, that's like the ultimate goal right now. But you know, for some reason, you know, along that journey, uh, you're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have obstacles. So basically, I feel like I was evaluating my goal, which was which may or may not be positive to me, like intrinsically, or it is. I mean, to me, it is a positive thing. But something was, or things are, preventing me from that goal. You know, money, time, uh, you know, a whole myriad of things stop you from creating your business. The fact that you just want to relax, you don't want to be on it all the time, you know. So anyway, so those things, I think, you know, were making me like extremely angry. Like I was like, man, I just wanted to like punch things and um, you know, punch a pillow or punch somebody, which you know I recognize I shouldn't do. You know, I do that. It's not. It has nothing to do with the thing that I'm punching or the person that I might get angry at. So, so I recognize I was able to recognize through what I've researched that anger has to do with confrontation, resolving an unresolved issue. And the thing about anger too, it's in academic research, it's now considered to be a positive emotion because you are approaching, you are confronting, you are dealing with a situation. You want to resolve it. That is the purpose of anger. Otherwise, you would just let it go and let it keep bothering you, which is not good for a number of reasons. So anger does have a positive slant to it. Like in a relationship, if you're having issues and you don't address the issue, that issue will keep going on. But however, if you're angered by it, you're going to be like, okay, let's figure this out. What can I do? What can you do to resolve this problem that we're having right now? So anger, you might want to consider it a positive emotion. Definitely nothing to be ashamed of. You're feeling something and you want to get it resolved. And in our society, who doesn't like that? So anger sounds like a positive emotion to me. So anyway, one thing I wanted to, so that's sort of my take on emotions, that they are tied to goals. First of all, if you are feeling a certain emotion, just realize it's a symptom. It's symptomatic of how you're evaluating a situation. That's what happens in emotions. Like we evaluate very quickly, actually, certain situations, certain thoughts that we're having, and they happen before we could even consciously recognize. Some call like the feeling state that we have. I've heard it referred to as the tip of the iceberg. there's so much below the surface that happen to generate that emotion, that we sometimes aren't aware of where the emotion came from in the first place. So, okay. So one thing also I wanted to address is that there seems to be this idea that so what I've told you about emotions is that they have a purpose. They're not totally ridiculous. They're not coming from nowhere. They're basically not some pent up energy. I mean, they are energy of sorts, but they're not just something that that could just be released. Like in the example I gave you, I was angry, and if I were to go to some gym and start punching a punching bag or something like that because I'm angry, that will not release all the emotion. It may tire you out where you won't want to have the emotion, or you're too tired to have the emotion at that point, but it won't resolve the issue. The issue is your goals, your values, your beliefs, or something that you're getting emotional about. So that's what you really need to look at and stop and stop believing that these emotions are out of nowhere. There's something that you're creating that you need to take responsible for, that I need to take responsibility for, and look at your life and see where you can make that impact, where you can make that change. So anyways, hopefully this video was helpful and gave you a perspective on emotions maybe that you haven't heard before. And good luck, everybody.